Hello, and welcome to the Metropolitan Elites. Although we have newspapers here, they're not real newspapers. These are special lizard-style newspapers that they've changed the news differently to bias the left. To the left, biased. Should we talk about bias?
Yeah, I think we should.
Lots of bias. That's the week of bias. Facebook are biased, left-wing biased. People working at Facebook secretly deleting the right-wing things from Facebook. How dare they? We own Facebook, Facebook don't own Facebook, blah blah blah, etc. But of course, the fact that people were complaining that Facebook was hiding conservative news was trending on Facebook. Because it was the trending they were trying to supposedly manipulating. There was someone on Radio 4, but maybe for Radio 4 at bias, saying that they're not aware of anything like this, that as a business who uses Facebook, they've not seen any of this happen. It's something somebody said somewhere, and then obviously the media has exploded with it. And then even if it was, even if they were doing that's a private organisation.
Yeah.
Well, was Rupert Murdoch allowed to decide our elections?
Yeah.
But Facebook aren't allowed to just
For
have their own
Facebook
opinion.
have got to be impartial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it is peculiar, and this is coming off the back of the BBC deal and the Laura Kuenssberg thing. Laura Kuenssberg got mentioned in Parliament. I feel that Laura Kuenssberg is not a very good political editor for the BBC because she seems, there is this element of gossip about the stuff that she covers, yeah? So it's all very gossipy, not very enlightening. Yeah? And obviously the prime gossip mongers at the moment seem to be the right wing of the Labour Party, sticking the knife into Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
So she's doing a lot of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is, it's not fair. I mean, Nick Robinson came out and said, he wrote a letter to the BBC while he was ill saying that the coverage of Jeremy Corbyn does seem to be particularly biased.
Bear in mind, he's quite right wing, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, chairman. It's often quoted he was former chairman of Young Conservatives at Oxford, and all that. But it is an interesting story there. Here is a guy who's sat on the backbenches for 20 odd years, an out there lefty, which no one would ever see running the Labour Party, coming through, gathering masses of support, bringing lots of people to the Labour Party, and winning, by a landslide.
Yeah, a bigger mandate than any leader before.
That is a fantastic story, yeah. But that's not covered.
Yeah.
What's covered? We're interested.
He's disastrous, useless.
Yeah.
He's racist, and he's.
And then we had a former governor of the BBC coming out saying that it has been incredibly biased.
What he said was obviously, very much so.
It is sort of biased against Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah. So we had a petition, online petition, saying, well, this is ridiculous. And what we get is a load of sexism.
Yeah.
And so they take the thing down. Well, that's not acceptable, take the thing down. Quite right. Yeah. But, I'm not convinced. That's not really happened. I think it's the same thing, isn't it, as before. It's all about, Corbyn supporters are sexist now.
Yeah.
It's not believable because those people complaining about her would be politically correctness gone mad type people. Surely they wouldn't be into sexism. Whereas Jim Davidson wouldn't be supporting Corbyn. So it doesn't add up, and I think it's orchestrated to get rid of the petition because she's there for a very particular purpose for the Conservative Party.
Yeah, I mean it was interesting. There was a Guardian, I think on the Guardian. I think it was about this story actually, and the top comment that I saw, it was like the latest one. It wasn't the most popular one, but it was so obviously a plant. Yeah, someone had gone on there and started talking about the Jew overlords running the BBC and all that, and you could see this is a guy just trying to whip up a storm, get some kind of backlash from it to undermine sort of like the Labour Party and Jeremy Corbyn.
Because it just doesn't add up, does it? You'd meet people like that; they would exist in real life, and they don't.
No. So it just confirmed. We all know that it is that way. That it is biased.
Yeah, and we know without the hat on, the Tories think that the BBC should serve them and be part of basically a wing of the Conservative Party by the sounds of it.
Which brings us to John Whittingdale white paper on the BBC.
Yeah.
Heard anything about that?
Well, I've not read it, but I imagine like most people, I've got strong opinions. I've not read it. But it's like you were saying last week about they come out with something ridiculous and then they back down. And then it seems not so bad. And that seems to be what's happened, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some of the scare stories when it was coming up was like, God. So what's happened is it's all a bit... But actually, I mean, I think getting rid of the BBC Trust and replacing it with Ofcom is probably quite a big thing, but I don't know whether that's actually a bad thing.
It's going to be, what is it, a panel of...
Yeah, like a board of directors kind of panel.
And 6 are going to be government appointed.
So we know where this is going. It's going to be a state broadcaster. That's the plan.
But editorial independence is enshrined into the charter.
Yeah, yeah.
So theoretically, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It depends who the editor is.
Yeah.
We know there's been an infiltration at the BBC of right-wing thinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of the people who are there who think the BBC is left-wing statistically are incorrect in that it's confirmation bias. But we did this and we talked about it and we came to the conclusion there's just individuals in the BBC. There's no conspiracy, there's no Jewish cable because we're not racists.
Yeah. It was interesting, on the day that it was announced, I turned Radio 4 on during the day and I was met by someone pretty high up in the BBC, an executive or something like that, being grilled by the reporter and given a proper grilling over it, which is one of the best things about the BBC. No other organisation you couldn't imagine someone at Fox tearing a strip off a Fox executive over a deal that had just been done. It just wouldn't happen. But
self-criticism.
The BBC, they see that as part of their duty, as part of their impartiality, because BBC is a state broadcaster effectively.
Yeah, it is better than the others.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's seen by the rest of the world. They perceive it as being this wonderful thing, and we've got a media and whatever and a political elite who don't agree.
No.
It doesn't mean they're perfect. It doesn't mean they've done incredibly stupid things in the past, in all sorts of directions and all sorts of terrible decisions and all sorts of massively amoral things happened.
I mean, that's the BBC. I mean, that's all come out, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as had been feared.
I'm sure that was intentional.
Yeah, I think that seems to be the playbook for this Parliament.
Thank you very much. More news next week from the news, which is all lies and bias. The Metropolitan Elite's bias. These two are so biased it's untrue. Who are they? Who are these two people biased?
We didn't do our Reddit poll.
Oh no! Next week we'll do another Reddit poll.
Yeah, we'll do another Reddit poll or a Facebook thing next week.
So
maybe we filter it out, you never know.
Yeah, right, yeah. See you next week.